Well, I'm back. This is Michael Douville in Scottsdale, Arizona. It is September 2nd, 2016, and it's been a long time since I've talked to you. Lots of things have happened for me. I've had the most amazing thing. I finally wrote my strategies down that I've built over the last 30 years. I put them into a book form, and lo and behold, it got published. And because it's got published, why my life has changed. I'm speaking around the valley here. People like to hear me speak, so I really enjoy that. I'm trying to change some lives, trying to get people to wake up and say, hey, we eventually are going to need some extra income in our lives. And this strategy I outlined in my book. It really takes about 10 years, 9.5 years. Why? Actually, after 4 or 5 years, starting to feel some of the benefits of it. So it's really not so long. It's how to create a real estate money machine and retire with income. And of course, it's really geared for holding outside your IRA. Although in today's environment, it's really real estate's a very, very compelling investment. So we've been putting an awful lot of pension funds and things have actually been taking real estate into their retirement and qualified pension finance. It's a tax advantaged vehicle within a tax advantage vehicle. That's the downside to it, but the returns have been really, really good, cash flowing and capital gains. So it's been very rewarding. So we're really, really pleased with that. I've been representing an awful lot of retirement plans. I still am a full-time broker here, but so I'm going to say probably 40-50% of my business is now doing investment work, and it's really rewarding. I love to see someone all of a sudden. I took a celebrity, actually. It's kind of a fun thing for myself. I took a celebrity and took someone who had not made any money in the stock market for 5 or 6 years. They just nothing's ever just seemed like nothing was working right for them. So we transferred some of their money into real estate, and they've just been doing really, really well. They've hit a home run on all their properties, and of course we're here in Phoenix, which is like the number 1 or number 2 building window in the nation. Growth is phenomenal, so we have a wind at our back, so that really helps too. We made some, I have to tell you, I made some good investment work, but they're really, really pleased, and it just really tickles me. I love to see people do really, really well. It's just a feeling like you are significant, that you do something that is actually worthwhile. And at my age, I'm starting to think of retiring. It's actually really nice to see that your life's work is actually paying off. So speaking of paying off, I watched Greg Manarino, so I'm going to give him a big shout out here. He's saying that some of the markets around the real estate markets around the nation are starting to get into bubble territory. Probably right. Probably seeing some bubbles. I mean, if you start thinking of your Canadian friends, I mean, a lot of these things are just off the charts. Vancouver, I think, is absolutely probably one of the most expensive cities in the world. A lot of that Chinese money coming into it, they don't really care what they pay. They just want to get it out of China. And even going to Vancouver, they've been the big recipient, and things have just gone crazy. But in the last month, I think their sales have dropped like 27% in 30 days. These markets can turn pretty fast. And I think we have some things around, here we are in Phoenix. We're the number 1 growth market in the United States, or number 2. We go back and forth. So it's hard for us to visualize what other places are like. We understand that Silicon Valley is just crazy town. So once you get to crazy town, why, the market always corrects. So I would say that's probably more than frothy. That's probably in bubble territory. You've got places in Seattle, New York City, I think is just crazy, Miami. And then, you have places that there's something is feeding these marketplaces. And once that feeding is done, why, there's no more wind. So the sales just, they fall. And of course, you want to sell your property, you have to discount. And sometimes you have to discount pretty severe. I understand in Miami that a lot of foreign buyers have stopped. So, and then of course, New York, it's financial. So if you have any kind of problems in the financials, why, hey, prices drop. We're an economically sensitive industry. But fortunately, a direct ownership of real estate is not directly correlated to Wall Street. There's a very low correlation to it. So we're here in Phoenix. We Been doing an awful lot of asset reallocation for pension funds. I've done things around the nation. People are wanting to get their money out of stocks and bonds and into some cash flowing real estate, which we have here in Phoenix. I mean, we're just really, really blessed. Rentals have been going up, prices have been going up. I imagine there's some economic pressure. Maybe we're getting frothy. Maybe. Some areas certainly are. We have in-migration here, so in-migration really masks a lot of problems. So in-migration, we had 85,000 people come to the Phoenix MSA, which is Metropolitan Statistical Area, last year. So that's a net 85,000 people, and we built about 20,000 units. So we're actually probably net short a few units. So the rental market's can be pretty tight. So that gives us some higher prices. Some prices are getting ridiculous, and I just noticed a couple of them. The rent to own is starting to signal that we're getting to the top. Now, let me just say that we do cycle work. I take my hat off to Charles Nenner and to Walter Zimmerman, who are just terrific analysts. And here, if you look for real estate, we're really an 18-year cycle. However, within an 18-year cycle, between like 7 to 9 years, we have a pretty substantial correction. And I think we're coming up to that point where we're going to start to correct. Now, that correction is a correction within an ongoing bull market, so it can be scary, but I think our ultimately we're going to go much higher from here, so I'm not terribly concerned. But I think it can be scary. It can be scary if you don't have any income coming in and if your business starts going down. So that's why I say if you need income, we've had an awful lot of people that are saying that they're coming here to Phoenix and are getting cash flow because we still get very good cash flow. And we still have demand. We have a pretty strong demand for rental properties. So I don't see that going away anytime soon. We're sitting right next to California. California's got this mass exodus going on because they're so difficult to do business with, and we're great recipients. So we've been very blessed with that. So it's been really, really good for us. So here we're still getting cash flows. I have been recommending to my clients to be sure that they talk to their financial advisors and to their significant others and talk about an exit strategy. At what point do you pull the plug? And to think maybe it's time that you start thinking that, hey, look, the stock market and bond market have done really, really well. We've had these enormous profits. How about ringing the cash register and taking those profits off the table and reallocating them into a different asset class? Real estate has a very low correlation to turmoil on Wall Street. So if Wall Street is turmoil, I mean, sure, we're affected by it, but we're not going to go down 60 or 70%. I don't see that kind of a correction in the works here. And even if it does, you still have all your cash flow coming in. I mean, the money just keeps coming in. When you do a residential rentals, there's a use factor. People have to have a place to live. So during the 2008 through 2010 Great Recession, I mean, it was awful. We were a poster child for bad real estate market. I just kept my rentals, and the rentals they just churned out my income each and every month, saved my life. This was a great lifeboat. They went down a little bit, but they were mitigated by no one wanted to move, so we didn't have a vacancy factor. The maintenance went down, management got better, taxes got better, insurance got better. So it was pretty good for us. So what we're saying is that if you have any concern about if you're in business and you're concerned, well, hey, if the economy starts going down, my business may be affected. Well, maybe you need to set up another passive income source. And here in Phoenix, we could certainly do that for you. We can go ahead and find really good properties that not only will grow. I mean, we're like the number one or number two growth window in the nation for the next 10 years. So these things will not only grow, but the rentals will increase, and it's conservative. Now it's not absolutely foolproof. I don't want to get myself in trouble and say, oh yeah, this Michael Douville said that we'll never lose money, because look at we learned in 2008, 2009 that everything can come up and down, but unless we have a Mad Max event where it's something terrible happens, we just go through this. Look at my group, my investors. We've been through 5 or 6 downturns. It's all the same. To go down, everybody gets scared to death, and they come back. So this time maybe we've got 2 to 3 years of tough living. But I'm looking at, if you do the cycle work, if you do any economics, and once the storm is passed, we get springtime. And in the springtime, that'd be 2019, 2020, 2021. I'm expecting really, really strong gains in real estate in particular. And in Phoenix specifically, we should do extremely well. Phoenix is just the growth potential here is just phenomenal. It's scary. It's so good. California, it's having. I mean, they're the highest taxes in the nation. So, and you gotta love Illinois. Illinois loses 62 jobs a day. So, we don't get all those jobs, but a lot of people come here. I mean, we're very growth friendly. So, because of that, we're pretty lucky. So, here's what I'm saying. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you for coming to my presentations. Thank you for buying my books. I would say to you, get out of debt. Get some reserves built up, pay off all your credit cards. I think we have a slowdown coming. It looks like it's baked in the cake. We've been talking about this for a long time. The GDP in the United States has been dropping since the fourth quarter of 2014. We're down to 1.2 or 1.3 GDP, which will probably get revised down. And quite honestly, I mean, we all know this. I think stall speed's around 2, so we're well underneath that. All the signs are pointing down. I mean, retail's just struggling. Hanjin, which global carrier, just for the overseas shipping containers, just went bankrupt 2 or 3 days ago. So it's really going to affect the globe, and of course it does that because the business is slowing. So get ready. Get your house in order. Talk to your advisor about taking some of the money off the table. Keep in mind that as much as I have an opinion on virtually everything, I am not a licensed stock and bond broker, nor am I a licensed financial planner. However, I've been in business for a really long time. We represent an awful lot of investors. We've made an awful lot of money together. So, but you do need to talk to your advisor and talk to your significant other. I'd take at least half the money out of the stock market, put it into cash, reallocate, just talk to your advisor and find out how much income do I need. And maybe because real estate will still provide you some income, really good. But I mean, income is so much better than anywhere else. I mean, I don't know why everybody and his brother doesn't own residential rentals. They cash flow so nicely. So, so you want to talk about that. Get your house in order. Start thinking that you need to start cutting expenses. Start getting some reserves up. And what I see is a little correction coming on in the real estate market. I think that the correction will be an opportunity of a lifetime again. Probably even better in 2008, 2009, 2010. I think it's going to be a fabulous time. I think it's going to be a generational opportunity to buy properties that will affect your grandkids, your great-grandkids. I think you can even do a family office that will benefit for generations. So I think this is coming, and I think it's a good thing. We just need to prepare for it. So I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Since I've been speaking, it's been wonderful. People call and I've been speaking about this very topic that get your house in order, buy some rentals, get some investments for yourself in case that business isn't as good. You'll have a monthly income coming in, and I feel 4 or 5 or 6 calls a day from people asking questions. And it's kind of heartwarming to think that. Some of the work that I do is actually starting to get out there. So, hey, listen, so my very best to you. It's Labor Day weekend, so have a really good one. And if you need to contact me, I'm going to be here all year. Talk to you later now. Bye.